Hey, welcome back to the channel. So this is our second video in the Torque Trike series. We're going to get started on the bodywork here. So first thing we have to do is glue this together. So it's got a bit of flash on this. So it's going to need a lot of cleanup, but I mean, in order to get it to work right, it needs a lot of cleanup. There's some issues with it. No, I shouldn't say issues. There's just some things that need to be addressed, I guess. So they got these little marks where the exhaust pipe goes, which I'm not going to use. And then there's sink marks there, and the plastic's just been a little beat up here and there. And then that's kind of stressed out. And actually, let's see. Goes there. Those little vents are kind of cool. Do something with those. Yeah, everything else looks okay. There's some sink marks inside of here. Probably a bit of cleanup with the Dremel would take care of those. So let's do that. All my bits are just tossed in here. I know somebody's probably at home cringing, going, how do you find stuff? And the answer is hard. It takes a little while. I find it the hard way. That's actually not really what I wanted to use. Here we go. Here it is. Okay, I found it. I found the one I wanted. Okay, that's those. And before anybody feels the need to write me, I am wearing prescription glasses that double as safety glasses. So my eyes are protected. And anytime you use a rotary tool, I suggest you protect yours too. Okay. Ah. Okay, good enough. Well, actually, no. I'm not really happy with that. Let me do this real quick. Okay, that's good. Okay, that cleaned up extremely well. So I'm done. I got both sinkholes out of there. I got that cleaned up. I went over everything with the 1500 grit, went over everything that I sanded with all the other stuff. Yeah, it looks good. So now you just got to come over this with a tack cloth. I believe you can get these at Walmart. I don't know. They come in a blue bag if I remember right. Just tack cloths. Look for them over at the woodworking section. They sell them a lot there. And just go over everything with it. You get everything nice and clean. Get all that dust and all that crap off of there, because believe me, if it's on here, it's going to blow back off into your paint. And you do not want that, because you're making a good looking model here. You don't want crap in the paint. Okay, so there's that. Now I just pulled mine out of the bag and just throw it in the Ziploc baggie. I've had this thing for 2 or 3 years now. It's still fine. Okay, so there's that. So we will come back and we will start doing primer on this. I have to get this thing set up to prime, so I'll come back and get it. Okay, so we are ready to primer. So we're just going to use Gray Super Primer on this. And ooh, I got the camera shaking there, shaking it up so hard. Make sure you shake it up. If you ever wonder if it's shaking up enough, just let it settle for a second. Look at the bottom of the jar. There's not, or the bottom of the bottle. There's nothing on the bottom of the bottle. You're fine. See, that's fine. Okay, let's put that in there. And you are ready to go. Now, one little trick I will give you is I personally like to start in spots where if, say for whatever reason, your airbrush is going to start giving you problems, you know, it'll do it somewhere where it's not really noticeable. Now, one of the nice things about the gray primer is it's going to immediately show you where you need a little bit more work. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, you can right there. You can see where that never came out, that little knot. You can also look and see where the 2 sink marks came out. Looks real good where I took off the two mounts for the exhaust pipes. The seam right there is showing through a tiny bit. And then I know people are probably going to say I'm lying, but I left that little knot right there in there deliberately because I wanted to show you just how well it showed up with the primer, and then I wanted to show you how to fix that. And the front looks really good. There's a tiny little dot there that needs to be fixed. So yeah, just those, and that's that. So I'm gonna let this dry real good for, I don't know, overnight, 8-10 hours maybe. And I'll come back and get on it in the morning and I'll film that and I'll show you how to kind of come in and remedy a few of these little problems we have going here. So I'll see you next time. I'll see you in a little bit actually. All right, so I let that set for a couple of days. It's completely dry. So it looks like there's some spots here, a few spots right here. That never did quite come out the way I wanted it to. There's a little spot there. That needs to be touched up a little bit. But anyway, so there's a couple of spots we got to work on. I want to show you on this. This is what I like to do. Let's take a toothpick. I use this 3M green glazing putty. I've also used the Bondo red stuff. That works okay too. Just take and squeeze some into this cap. I mean, obviously you don't need a whole lot. I just way overdid that. Here, let me clean this up a little bit. Oh well, okay. I'm not gonna mess with that right now. So I just like to take it and stir it up. Till it's like that. And you just got to come in here. I don't know if you can see that or not. You can still see the line in it. So you got to come in and kind of push it in there. Gonna want to get it in there real nice. Make sure it's on there nice and flat. Okay. Dab it in there. Dab it in there. And I'll come back and kind of wipe it off. Okay. And then let me wipe that off a little bit. And then this little spot here was giving me trouble. And then there's a couple little spots right here. Okay, and then that turned out really nice. And that just needs to be rounded over a little bit more. And there was a spot right here. Okay, so that's that. Let that sit overnight. We'll come back in on it tomorrow and we will finish that one off. All right, so we let the putty dry. That stuff dries pretty fast. It's good stuff. So I'm just going to use the medium sanding stick on this and just come back in and take down that putty. So you're really going to be trying to focus on just the putty parts of that, because if not, you don't want to start running into the plastic and making it come out weird. Actually, that's not working quite as well as I'd like it to. I'm gonna have to go to the course pad real quick here. Okay, so there's that, and then we'll come back in just like before. Like I said before, you wanna start pushing those over and making them all right. I bet that's going to be perfect when we get that out of there. So, you know, of course you don't want to get in there and really start jamming away on it. You're trying to leave some there a little bit so it molds in properly. And that looks pretty good to me for the rough part. And again, you don't want to leave a little bit because you're going to come back and resand it with some other stuff. So that's going to a little unhappy with the way that looked when I was done with it. Okay. Ah, perfect. Okay. And I'll go back over that with the fine. And I've showed in a couple of other videos. If you ever mess something up, you can come back and fix it. This is all kind of the same. It's all kind of just the slightly different version of that. You know, you're just going to come in and make sure that all your sanding looks good. Yeah, it looks really good. I am super happy with that. Okay, there's all that. So next step here is going to be to fit that rear glass, which I worked a little bit on, you know, cleaning that up when we put it together, but you know, it's not going to just fit in there because I really want it to come back out and be really flush. So yeah, it looks good on the one side. The other side looks like it needs to come in. So we're gonna grab our file set here, and I'm gonna use, I think, the diamond rasp one, and just kind of try to kind of clean this up a little bit where I can. Have to be careful with this lens. It's so nice. I don't want to drop it. I'm afraid I won't be able to see it on the floor. Okay, so I think the whole entire thing . This needs opened up a little bit. Excuse me. I hate doing that on camera because I know how annoying it is in person, so I apologize for clearing my throat so much. Okay, that's going to take a tiny bit of finagling to get in when I glue it in, but I think that's about where I want it. And then come in with the fine and just run it around a little bit just to kind of clean it up, and I think we're good to go. Okay, so we're going to come back and we're going to hit it with another little bit of primer just to clean up those spots, and then we'll come back over that with the 1500 grit again, and then we will we'll be ready for the silver base coat, which we'll put on. So I'm actually going to do that off camera because there's nothing to it. It's just airbrushing the primer and then just sanding around it. So you don't need to see that. I bored you with this enough. So let me get that primered, and then I'll come back and we'll shoot some silver on it. I'll show you some tricks with flake base coat. Okay, so we are all done with primer. We got it sanded, we got it tack clothed off. We are ready for paint, and it's looking so good. Okay, beautiful, love it. All right, so for this paint job, we're going to be using House of Colors BCO2 or the Orion Silvers. Shake that up. Always shake up your colors. Nice good big wide flake. Let me turn the light on here. Maybe this will be better. It's got a nice flake to it. It's going to look good under that candy green. Then we're also going to do a secondary color. This is no leftover from my brother-in-law's truck build I did for him. It's a Ford UJ Sterling Gray. It's off of a mid 2000, it's like a 2012 F250, F350. Anyway, it's a cool color. I'm going to do a little bit of shading with that. I'm going to show you how that works with the candy. And then the main event is going to be the candy Cali Green. So this is a legit candy mid coat. You can see in the bottle right there, you can see where it's translucent green. Yeah, you can see it really well there. And that's what candies are. They're that translucent color. So they're going to let that silver and that gray show through and give it a green tint to the top. And it's going to be really cool. So let's get started on this. Like I said, I'm going to use this leftover Orion Silver. Okay. So we are going to paint everything on this color. So just kind of do it how you always would. So when you're spraying silver flake like this, you got to be careful of a couple of things that can happen to you. If you spray it too dry, you could get it where the flake won't lay down nice. And if you spray it too heavy, you can get it where the flake will do what is known as floating. And it'll pick up and it'll come out all jagged and look all splotchy on you. So what you're going to want to do is after you put as much on there as you think you're going to need, which I got to throw a little bit more in the bottle, or in the airbrush, I mean, not the bottle. Okay. I just want to finish off under the fender wells there. And even though I do plan to come in and do a different color over the top of this with that gray to darken it up in some spots, you still want to make sure you cover everything. You want it to look good. So that looks good. It looks like everything's covered. I don't see any dry spots, any weirded out wet spots or anything. So what you're going to do is you're going to put on what they call a drop coat. So you're going to come back in and in a circle pattern, you're going to come in and you're going to repaint over everything. So you don't get any striping from that paint anywhere. Okay, there we go. God, that looks great. Nice and smooth. Looks really good. Actually, it looks like the there we go. Just ease that in a little bit there. And don't be afraid to come back and touch up anything you need to. Yeah, you really can't put too much paint on this. I know you can. It'll build up too much, but you'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, so that looks very, very good. Okay, we're going to set that there. Then we're going to clean out the airbrush. Then we're going to come back and we're going to hit that with the tack cloth again, because sometimes with the flake you can see that it'll do that. It'll just kind of sit on top of the paint, and we want to get that all cleaned off. So we'll come back in, we'll clean everything up, and then we'll be ready to go for the sterling gray color. Okay, so we are ready for the next color. Now I sprayed that silver at about 25 psi, and that's with my 0.5 tip in this. I lowered it down to about 20 psi, just a little bit less air on that. I think will work better for this fade in color. Again, shook that thing up real nice. Figure out when it starts to come out. And then I'm going to start on the bottom here, because I know that's not going to really matter. Okay, there we go. Okay. And then all I'm doing is I'm running it up to that edge. Okay. Okay. And then just simply spraying it like that's going to leave you with a real soft edge on that. Oh, that actually looks better on the camera than it does in person. Okay. So we're going to let that dry for a little bit. We're going to clean out the airbrush, then we're going to come back in and we're going to hit that with the green candy and we will be ready to go. Okay, so we got the airbrush all cleaned out and this is set up enough to take the clear. So before we start doing that, I want to talk a little about what we did here. We didn't do anything real special, just primered it, got it prepped, and then we sprayed a base coat. Both the Orion Silver and the Sterling Gray are just base coat paints. If you shot a clear coat over them, they would just be known as base coat, clear coat. But here is the confusing part for a lot of people. Because we are going to be using what's known as a mid coat, this quits being what's known as a base coat and turns into what's known as a ground coat. Because you have another layer of paint to go over it. So it goes ground coat, in this case the metallics because we're using a candy mid coat, or a solid if you were using a pearl mid coat, for example. And then you have the mid coat, and then you're going to put a clear coat over the top of the mid coat, or your candy coat in this case, or pearl coat if that's what you were spraying. And so it goes ground coat, mid coat, and then gloss coat. But if you just did it base coat, clear coat, it would just be base coat, clear coat, even though it's still technically base coat, clear coat, because your candy is a tinted clear. But you don't leave that just as its own thing. You got to clear over that again. So I'm trying not to confuse you guys. I'm pretty sure I lost a few of you and you're already going back going, what did he just say? But yeah, as always, if you have any questions, send me an email, scalefinishes@gmail.com. I'll be happy to explain it again to you. Seriously, if you ever have any questions about anything, please let me know. I am more than happy to help you out. I know this is my business, but it's more hobby than business for me, and I want to make sure everybody involved in the hobby has a good time with the hobby. So if you're ever confused or whatever, you know, got a question, just let me know. I will take care of you, I promise. So now we're ready to spray the mid coat. So just come in. So just come in like always and just get on it. Now with the candies, because they're tinted clear, the more you get on them, the darker they're going to be. So that's a lot of reason why guys don't like to run them. Because if you're painting a hood and a door separately, and you don't do them exactly the same, they will look like different colors. Ah, there we go. That's the color I was after. Just had to kind of get on it a little bit. So, of course, you have a few different options for making it darker. You can spray it on heavier, kind of the way I'm doing it. You can spray it on multiple coats. Okay. Ah, I'm out. Oh, that looks so good. I love that fade. Okay. Okay, so just look it over. Make sure there's no spots that still need a little bit more color on them. Okay. All I see is there's a little spot right here where some little bit of garbage just got in the paint. But otherwise I got it, and I think it looks fabulous. So I'm going to end this episode right here. Next episode we will do decals and clear coat over that. And if you really want to be confused, I'm sure you guys love that. If you come back on my next episode, I'm going to spray the motor in a House of Colors candy color. They call them candy colors, KBCs, candy base coats, what that stands for, but they're not really a candy color. They are designed to look like one. They are designed to look like one, and if I had a better way of doing this, you can see it, probably not on camera real well, but it looks like a real dark green candy. But these are just base coat clear coats, so these you just spray on over the primer, then just a bit of clear over the top of them. They look fabulous. I'll show you those in the next episode. Like I said, I'll do the decals, and we'll get the motor painted, and then we'll clear coat all that stuff, and then that'll be the next video. So thanks for watching this one. We have a new code on our website, so if you go to scalefinishes.com, if you want to buy any of this stuff or anything else we sell, you can get on scalefinishes.com, like I said, and use code YouTube10, and you'll get 10% off everything you buy. So I will clean this up, and I will see you on the next video.